Welcome, IT changemakers, to the DEX Show with Tim Flower and Tom McGraw. Let's get into it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first Reality Bytes of 2024. Can you believe it? It's a new year. It's the same brilliant Reality Bytes show within a show within a show format. And we've got a very, very special guest. Our first, I believe, returning Reality Bytes guest. And it's Sam Gantner back on the show. Nice to see you again, Sam. How you doing?
Hey, thank you, Tom. I feel honored to be the first returning guest. That's a big thing. Thank you so much.
Well, it's a double privilege, if I might say, because you're not only our first returning guest, but you kicked off this series of Reality Bytes Nexthink interviews as well. And let me tell you, it was one of the best performing episodes of last year now. So we had to get you back on, not least because I really feel like 2023 was such a milestone year for our company. And you know, you were sort of you and your team, your large team was such a key part of that. I was interested, first of all, Sam, how would you characterize 2023?
You know, when I look at 2023 from a market perspective, looking at DEX, looking at Nexthink, I think it was really the year where the world really realized the value of having and applying a DEX strategy. And let me explain, you know, in the past, I felt that people were kind of forced into that. We had the pandemic that really forced companies to change the way that they were working. And then after the pandemic, we started with the great resignation, right? And companies were forced to adapt once again. But in 23, certain things calmed down a little bit. And that's the moment where they realized that there was actual value in spontaneously starting a DEX initiative without being forced into that, right? And they understood that it's a fundamental discipline as much as, incident or problem management were considered in the past. So, I think for us, it's a huge satisfaction being the company that invented DEX, right? To see this recognition in the market.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's a brilliant way to put it. It was the first time DEX was taken up volitionally, you might say, by the market. Yeah, it wasn't forced upon it by circumstance.
Indeed.
On a personal level, professional level, I mean, but from your personal perspective, if you had to pick three big highlights from last year, Sam, what would they be?
Wow, so many things happened, but probably the first one is really the consolidation of Infinity. We started 2023 with Infinity, that was this new jewel, just came out, right? But it was not yet a proven technology. And we worked really hard with our customers. We received so much feedback, so much engagement. And all of that feedback allowed us, release after release, we had 10 releases in 2023, right? To really consolidate the platform and get it to the level that really wanted it to be. So that's definitely something that I'm looking with a lot of pride about. And then probably the second one is the launch of Nexthink Flow, which is our automation product. That's been a lot of work and something that we were really excited about because some of our customers were telling us about the importance of moving towards automation for the past few years. And to see the reality of that and to see how quickly we could go to that and build that was really cool. And then obviously, I couldn't not mention Gen AI, right? I was educated as a software engineer. I became a product manager, but I've always intrinsically been a geek my whole life. And, since maybe 30 years ago, I watched 2001 A Space Odyssey.
Nice.
And, there was the HAL 9000 there. Yeah. And I've been asking myself, when are we going to get to the point where artificial intelligence really becomes a thing, right? And I feel like, probably 2023 is the year that we're going to remember as being the turning point when it comes to that. So obviously we need to talk about that, right?
100%.
Sam, welcome to the show. It's always good to talk with you.
Hi, Tim.
I want to explore a couple of things. I get asked a question more and more frequently as I talk with people, as I travel around. And the question is kind of I'm going to turn it into a two-parter for you that we can talk about a bit because I think there's some things that we need to explore. The first is, the question really is, what's the future of the service desk? And customers want to know Nexthink's opinion of that future. What's the future of the service desk hold? And I think the part that I've been exploring is service desk. When I hear the word service desk, I think L1 help desk. And I think the question really is bigger than that. What's the future of IT operations? And how does Nexthink play into that future? So kind of the two-parter question is, where do we see the market going, right? What's that future of the service desk look like? And two, we as a software vendor, are we following the market, or are we setting the market and people are following us with our product? What are your thoughts about where the market's going and how we play into it?
Well, maybe I will be a little bit provocative here, but I believe that the future of the service desk is actually to disappear, right? And we've been moving in that direction for a while, in the sense that the companies really want to reduce number of tickets and number of problems that need to be reported by employees, right? And it's only a logical conclusion that if we're successful with the initiatives that are already started, the service desk will pretty much disappear. And obviously, we're always going to have somebody that needs to pick up the phone in case there is an emergency, there is a VIP that cannot connect or something like that. But for 95% of the problems that people are facing today, we should change approach. And what is interesting about that is that some of the current strategies have been focused on replacing the service desk basically by shifting left, right? But this means putting all the burden of that on the actual employees. And personally, shift left is an important thing, and something that as an intermediary step, we should support as an industry, but it shouldn't be our final goal. It shouldn't be our final goal to put all of this effort on the employees, right? Our final goal should be to completely get rid of problems and incidents and all of that. And we can achieve that by, first of all, moving to a proactive approach, really avoiding the problems in the first place. And on top of moving to this proactive approach, it's also about when we detect something, being able to resolve that very, very quickly and in an automated way, or at least as automated as possible. Now, however, there's another point, right? When you look at tickets and service desk, many of the requests are not actual problem. They're what we call service requests, right? These employees needing something. And then that's another point that I think has been a little bit underestimated, because why should I need to open a ticket if I need an application, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the system should be smart enough to understand that if I'm trying to access an application that I don't have access to, or if there's an application that everybody that has the same persona as me, I'm not saying my colleagues, but the same persona as me, then it should provision that automatically, or at least ask me, hey, do you think you need this? Or we believe, actually even better, we believe that you might have a benefit using this. So I think as we look at that in the future, it's also about how do we make sure that we move to a behavior-based model where not only we avoid the problems, but we also anticipate needs and fulfill them in an automated way.
Yeah, I went back and watched your Experience Everywhere keynote a couple of times to pull out that one specific point in the demo that you did. The example of a customer who clicks on an application icon, they don't have access, it routes to the manager, the approval gets provisioned, it gets back to the employee. And I've highlighted that for several, both customers as well as colleagues. And the intrigue is definitely there to talk about and to see that come to life, where it's behavior-based provisioning versus request-based provisioning. It's the same concept as it is with incident management. Why don't you just know that I had a problem? And when I was in IT, I had so many of our customers at Hartford say, especially new hires, you guys are in IT. Why don't you just know what I need? Why is it that I have to tell you what I'm in the business? I don't know what I need. I'm a new hire. Why don't you just know? And I think we're really on the road to starting to get there. It's a really cool direction. So to expand on that a bit, and you mentioned a couple of the a couple of the individual accomplishments in terms of our product set last year. Do you expect more of the same this year, more innovation, more new product, more evolution? Or is it really about circling the wagons on what we've done and making the existing product set better? What we're going to continue to evolve, or what's this year look like?
Well, it's both, right? Overall, we set really solid foundations with Infinity, and in many of the feature set and the things that we do, and some of the products that we have out there today, we're reaching a certain level of maturity, right, where the product is delivering on the value that we expect it to deliver it, and it's doing that with a great user experience in a way that is very smooth. So we will continue to invest on some of those things, but probably at a slower pace. But we still want to see progress in those areas. But I think maybe the part that is the most interesting is everything that is related to AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
We build Infinity from the very beginning with AI in mind. So we build this platform that has an incredibly solid foundation in the ability to collect the data, put everything together. We invented NQL because we wanted a standardized way to access all of these very rich data sets on which we could build upon as a foundational thing. And then we invested into all the security and data privacy considerations that are so important for that. And when you look at that type of investment, that's 80% of the cost of putting in place AI is actually on those foundations, right? When you look at the AI piece itself, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's the part that is actually visible, right? But it relies on all of this technology underneath. And so now that we have this platform, and at the same time, there's been so much advancement in certain of the AI components that have become really commodity, I think we can really start to adopt it throughout the platform. And an example of that is Nexthink Assist, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Assist, we want to make sure that everybody can use the product in an easier way. We want to reduce the complexity of using Nexthink or getting value out of Nexthink, reducing the amount of training that perhaps you needed for some of the most advanced concepts around the platform. And I'm really much looking forward to the launch in general availability that I'm sure will happen in the first half of the year. But then there's also other things where we invested quite a bit, and I'm excited to see a conclusion, right? For instance, the new Alert Hub. That was a fundamental piece that we introduced with Infinity, and now we're enriching it with AI insights based on data from 18 million endpoints out there in the cloud. So we're able to detect problems across the data from all of our customers, and then map those problems within a specific environment, and suggest a solution for those particular things. And this will be part of the new Alert Hub next year. So that's very exciting because it will take this problem detection and resolution completely to a different level. So yeah, there are so many things that we're going to invest in, and so much excitement that is going to come out in 2024.
Very cool.
Very awesome conversation. Sam, hey, this is Megan. Thank you so much for coming on the show again. It's so good to have you. It's so interesting to hear your unique insights on all our products. And I was lucky enough to be at the Boston Experience event this year. So I got to watch your keynote with Pedro, where you announced Flow to the North America audience. And I could also kind of walk around the event afterwards, and you could really feel the excitement about Flow, right? Everyone's so excited by this new product, so excited by this new capability and everything it offers. So as we look forward to 2024, thinking about Flow specifically, what's the roadmap for that product? What can people get excited about?
Oh, we have so much stuff that is coming there. So when you look at Flow right now today, where it really shines is setting the fundamentals, right? And we call that evergreen. There are other names for that, but it's really about making sure that your environment is in a continuous green and working state, where all the services are up and running, all the requirements are working in an ideal way, and all of that. Now, in a few months, what is coming is really what I was talking about before around the foundation that we need to move to behavior-based service fulfillment, if you want. And this is mainly three functionalities that are coming. The first one is a stream-based approach to be able to trigger workflows. And this means being able to listen to specific events that are coming from the endpoint or from the ecosystem and react in real time to those events. The example that I give at Experience is being able to see that the user is accessing a specific application and within a few seconds being able to trigger a workflow based on that. But there are many other examples with respect to that. So that's the first one, this stream-based approach. The second one is lowering the bar even more when it comes to the complexity of creating a workflow. And what we notice is that there is a ton of value when you start to interact not only within Nexthink, but also all the components that make up the IT ecosystem, right? And for that, we're packaging a very rich catalog of connectors where just by drag and drop, you're going to be able to bring all of these products together within the same workflow. And it is possible today, right? But you need to write a little bit of JSON. It can get a little bit complicated. So we really want to lower the bar in terms of complexity. And finally, we want to continue building our library and really putting together this very big catalog that on one end will serve as a showcase of what is possible and what is recommended. And this is even about idea generation, right? What are the opportunities that you have to generate value within that? And second, we'll even further decrease the complexity, because if you can start with a template rather than starting from scratch, then it's even easier, right? And we have planned investment across all of these 3 areas. Then obviously there's more that we're going to do around governance and UX and reporting and all of that. But I would say those 3 are the most impactful one, at least from a value generation perspective.
Amazing. So it's just going to get easier and easier to do more and more with Flow for customers. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So then thinking about Flow was maybe one of the more exciting announcements, but it certainly wasn't the only one of the last year. And, at the end of the year, it's hard to think back, but like Amplify came out in 2023 and Infinity came out in 2022, but this was really the year of Infinity. So if we're thinking about all of the other things we released this year, what are some significant planned milestones for these in terms of availability and iteration going forward 2024?
Once again, I think, we're going to have progress across the board. The Alert Hub, Assist, we're going to continue to invest into network visibility, by the way. So we're reaching general availability with network connectivity. We will be by far the most complete DEX solution on the market when it comes to being able to understand all of these complex connectivity ecosystems with a hybrid between IPv6, IPv4, connections going to data centers and the internet and some of the intranet that people still have. So all of that, and as an icing on the cake, we're going to have the network activity view that is coming as part of that. Is definitely something that I'm looking forward to in that particular direction. And then, I was mentioning about this AI side. So what we're looking at is really investing throughout the platform to bring insights within the data that we show. So today you can build all these incredible dashboards and visualizations and query the data in real time and get all of these answers, right? But I think the next step for people is tell me the conclusion, tell me the insights, tell me what this means. Don't let me have to spend the time to try to figure that out myself, right? And we're reaching this level now, right? We did an innovathon within the engineering department. We actually had to limit the number of participants because we had more than 20 teams that wanted to participate. But, as a jury, it would have taken us forever to go through all of that. So we limited that to 20. And basically, 80% of those were ideas related to bringing insights and additional knowledge through AI within the platform. And that was so exciting. And, the opportunities there are just huge to completely change the game when it comes to consuming Nexthink and getting value out of the solution. And for the rest, just expect value across the board. We're not forgetting, by the way, of the importance of governance when it comes to the platform in terms of security, accessibility, and all of these things that are absolutely fundamental, as well as some of the things that are really important today for the industry, right? I think when you look at everything that is happening, there is this concept of digital sobriety that is becoming more and more important, right? So the idea that you need to be very efficient in what you do, and you need to have really this concept of driving things, knowing where you're spending your money, right? An example of that is understanding which software licenses you're consuming and making sure that the tools that you're deployed are really used. Another example is this concept that I absolutely love around circular computing, right? The majority of the CO2 emissions and also the spend come from changing hardware, right? So what if we could recycle hardware and use it and extend the life cycle? So this whole aspect around sustainability and green IT is something that is becoming very, very important, and we want to continue investing into that. Definitely for IT and end user computing, but I believe with Nexthink we have opportunities even outside of that, really to go and help the CSR teams with the huge challenges and opportunities that they have in front of them in 2020-2024.
All of these are amazing. Hi, Sam, Dina here. Can you share any insights into new products that users will be able to see and actually use across 2024? Some snippets and sneak peeks.
Look, let me tell you, we're working on 4 new exciting products. Now, one of them, Nexthink.ai, was announced by Pedro at Experience Everywhere. And this is definitely something that we're very, very, very excited about. I believe that this concept of completely democratizing DEX, not only for IT, but for anybody and everyone in the company, is absolutely, absolutely fantastic. For the other 3 products, I actually cannot say anything about that, right? But I encourage everyone to take a look, register for Experience Everywhere 2024, because that's probably where we're going to unveil some of that innovation.
Exciting. Cannot wait until the end of the year gets in then.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit of a long wait, right? I would love to be able to say, tune in to the next episode in a month, and we're going to tell you all about that, but you're going to have to be a little bit more patient.
It's exciting times. It's going to be worth the wait, as always. And what about R&D at Nexthink? Which areas are we focusing on here and why?
Well, one of them is what we've always been focusing on: scale, performance, speed. We're doing great today, by the way, with respect to that, but there is also a lot of growth that is coming within our customer base, and we want to make sure that the experience of the product continues to remain the same, and we continue to be fast, efficient, and really providing this snappy experience while consuming Nexthink, which is part of a little bit of our culture and everything that we want to provide. And then the other one is, you probably heard about continuous integration and continuous delivery, right? And that's something that many software companies are moving towards. And it's something that we're also investing in that, and we've been for a while. And there is a little bit of a debate when it comes to that, right? Because when you're in the large enterprise space, people don't necessarily want to have new features every single day, right? They want to be able to have some level of control. So we're looking at how do we bring a continuous delivery in this large enterprise universe in a way that is compatible on one end with us delivering more value more quickly, which is something that obviously everybody wants. But on the other end, also understanding that, in this space, people want to be able to know what to expect and what is coming and all of that. So we're trying to figure out what is the best way to bring that, being conscious of these 2 objectives that sometimes they're a little bit contradictory between each other. Obviously, the foundation of all of that is the highest level of quality, right? We see many companies that are doing that and lowering the bar, and that's definitely something that we don't want to do. If anything, we want to raise the bar when it comes to coming up with the utmost level of quality.
Well, I mean, we couldn't have had a better guest to get us going for the new year, Sam. This is it sounds like a really, really exciting year ahead of us. From your perspective, of all of those things you named, or even if it's something else, what excites you most about this year? What gets you going?
Look, personally, Infinity is where we want it to be right now, right? It's a dream that started 3-4 years ago, and now it's done. It's achieved. So what I'm actually very excited about is that all of these engineers that have spent the last 3 years working on Infinity, guess what? Now they're going to work.
Yeah.
They're going to go on holidays. No, actually, well, they should, right? But on top of that, they will put a lot of their time into net new innovation, right? And that's absolutely fantastic. We want to take DEX to the next level. We want to continue to define this category. And I believe that we have the right people to do that. We have now the right platform to do that. And especially, we have this amazing customer base that is being helping and advising and guiding us. We established some really strong relationships there. And, I'm sure they will continue to do that. So we have these 3 fundamental ingredients to take us to the next level. And I'm really looking forward to see where we can go and how far we can go. Absolutely.
Brilliant. You truly whet our appetites, Sam, and a pleasure to have you on the show for the second time. I have a feeling you're going to be our third returning guest as well. So thank you so much, and let's all have a great year. Eh?
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It's been great. Thank you.
To make sure that you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast player. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a rating of the show. Just tap the number of stars you think the podcast deserves. If you'd like to learn more about how Nexthink can help you improve your digital employee experience, head over to nexthink.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.